You're listening to Play Therapy Community Podcast, episode 51.
Welcome to Play Therapy Community Podcast, providing connection, information, and inspiration to child therapists all around the world. Here's your host, a licensed psychotherapist, a registered play therapist, and my mom, Jackie Flynn.
Hi there. Thank you so much for tuning in to Play Therapy Community Podcast. This is the very first episode since we've done the transition from Parenting in the Rain podcast. So I'm super excited to have you here. So if you listen to Parenting in the Rain, you have a really good feel for what the podcast is like. So I switched over to Play Therapy Community because I really wanted to reach out to those working in the field, helping children and families, and specifically child therapists. But you, if you're not a child therapist, you are more than welcome to listen. And I love having you here. I love connecting with each other, inspiring each other, and really just sharing information. So there's a lot of expert guests that's already planned to be on the show. And it's going to be really, really good stuff. So I can't wait for you to hear the episodes coming up. At the time of this recording, I've done many of the interviews and recorded them. So I have some good stuff coming up. Lucy Lauer is talking about eating disorders. Mercedes Sinumano, she's talking about family meetings. Kat, and I can't pronounce your name correctly, Kat, I think Canoni. I'm sorry if I messed that up. Maternal mental health, postpartum depression and anxiety, really good stuff. Oh, and Dr. Ellis Edmonds is talking about his therapeutic game called the Mindful Bus. That's really good, listening to his journey about how he created that and what the bus is all about, the acceptance and commitment therapy. Oh, and Billy Joe Clausen, she's going to be on the show in episode 58 talking about infant toddler mental health. Katie May is going to be on talking about group therapy, and she is so pumped up. I really enjoyed our conversation. Dr. Van Horn is going to be on the show talking about the role of a school counselor, because I know some of you may be listening that are school counselors or considering to be it, so that's helpful. But also for parents and for therapists, knowing what does a school counselor do and how can they help students and families. Ooh, and have a conversation with Pam Dyson. She talks about how she set up her play therapy room. She's good. She's one of the people that is really influential for me on my journey to become a registered play therapist. Now, if you're anything like me, you love the idea of having tons of information at your fingertips just so you could provide the best support as possible to your clients. So that's why I created this podcast. Like I said before, I'm Jackie Flynn, and I absolutely love what I do. I love working with all ages through play therapy and many different types of therapies. I have a private practice in Central Florida, and I have a fully stocked play therapy room, an Expressive Arts Therapy Studio that I use with all ages. I just recently added some clinicians to that practice, so now it's a group practice. I have some really great clinicians there. Amanda Maddox, she's a certified addiction professional, and Christina Martin, another registered play therapist, super therapist. They really do a great job of helping kids and families and individuals. Really good stuff. I love being a private practitioner, and along with that comes like being an entrepreneur. You know, really knowing that business end and taking risk, which is always kind of, I don't know, for me, it kind of slips into that vulnerability stuff. I've been listening to a lot of Brene Brown's work, recently, and I've read her books. My favorite's the Rising Strong book, but taking the risk is really a growth mindset and helps you move forward and be able to get your work out there to help as many people as possible. So that's why I created this podcast. I'm daring to dream big, and I'm excited about it. At the time of this recording, I've had this podcast going, the Parenting in the Rain podcast version of it, for a little over a year, and it's been really successful, and I love it. I've met some of the most amazing people out there, so I love it, and I love play therapy, and I know that just that healing power of play can be so amazing. It could be huge. And in the beginning, when I was in graduate school, I remember coming home from my play therapy courses and my school counseling courses, because that's what I went to school first in the beginning before I pursued the licensed mental health counseling avenue. But I remember coming home and just searching the web for hours and hours trying to get ideas. And I did. I got a lot of ideas. That's where I found Pam Dyson's videos and lots about Tammy Van Hollander. She has an episode coming up on here too. I love her work. I love both of their work. They're really, really good. Now, through this work, we may be all spread out, but we don't have to do it alone. And that's the big effort that I'm making through this podcast, is to be able to connect us all so we can inspire each other and provide information to each other and share resources and information just to help us be the best that we can be for the people that we help. I love the thought of being a community too, just like-minded individuals, and being able to kind of grow in like a synergistic way, where I heard that term first when I was listening to Stephen Covey's work. I used to work in an entirely different field, but that term synergy really stuck out for me. It's when the sum of the parts are greater than the individual parts put together. So all together we can create something way more healing and way more helpful by sharing our resources and our information than we can each one of us working alone. And I know many people listening to this podcast are listening all over the world, which, oh my goodness, that makes my heart skip a beat. That's so exciting. Thank you. Thank you for being part of the community. Now, my work at my private practice, I'm passionate about helping all ages, children, adolescents, parents. I work with couples and families through play therapy and EMDR therapy, eye movement desensitization reprocessing, sand trade therapy. You'll hear an episode with Amy Flaherty coming up, episode 53 on sand trade therapy, which is really good. Gottman Methods couples therapy. I had training in that, and now I am on the certification track. I'm meeting with a consultant every so often, which is amazing, Carrie Cole. And then I am also on the EMDR certification track too, so I'm a little bit busy lately. So probably much like you, I've spent many years going to trainings and definitely school. I went to the University of Florida, University of Central Florida, which is incredible. I believe at the time of this recording, I just heard that it's ranked 7th in the nation for the counseling program. Excellent program, KCREP accredited, really good program. And their play therapy certificate program is amazing. So I got to take advantage of both of those. I've been listening to so many podcasts. Recently, I have developed an obsession with audiobooks through Audible. So I've read, and this sounds a little bit nerdy, I've read more books than ever. When I say read, I listen to them in the car and everything. Many of them I've read several times, like The Body Keeps the Score by Dr. Bessel van der Kolk. I read that 5 times. It was amazing because it felt like I was getting, just by listening to that book, I felt like I got a whole degree in trauma. But then I found the book Childhood Disrupted, which is fantastic too. Both of those authors are amazing. I love Peter Levine's work. I've just read so many good books. So I've really kind of put a lot of effort into networking, reading blogs, and doing a lot just to become an awesome therapist. And I feel like I am, learning every day. So I am definitely a student, and I used to be a teacher too. So I consider this kind of being a way to share information, much like when I was a middle school teacher years ago, right before when I was pursuing the school counseling track. All right, so we have so much information to share, and there's so many professionals out there. It just makes me so excited. I can hardly stand it. And I love the world of therapy and be able to help in that way. But also I love the world of business because, starting a private practice really takes that business mindset. So we'll have a few episodes on, the business end of it, which one we have with Dr. Melvin Varghese. He has a podcast, Selling the Couch. He's a psychologist out of Philadelphia, and he's going to share how to use podcasts to really spread your message too. So this is going to be good too. All right. So you may have listened to Parenting in the Rain. If you haven't, go ahead and check those out. They should be on the previous episodes, 0 to 50 of this podcast. You may have been in some of my webinars. If you have, thank you. All right. So at www.playtherapycommunity.com, you can find the podcast, but also you can find a free download that I've provided, which is a video of my most used top 3 miniatures in my sand tray work. So I'm excited about that. Sand tray is a big part of my work. I love it. So you can just kind of download that and see, which ones I have, but I'm going to make some videos later on of just how my entire collection and how I chose that, because it's really important to be intentional with all of your supplies. When we talk about play therapy, we're not just talking about just getting some toys and playing. It's actual, a therapeutic approach, and every toy, every miniature, every item has a purpose, and it's a very amazing type of work, but there's definitely some things that you need to have in place before you get started, and that's why I'm excited about getting this information out there. Okay, thank you so much for listening to this, and I can't wait to meet with you on future episodes. Bye.
To join our growing community for free, just go to playtherapycommunity.com and find us on Facebook too.
Thanks for listening to the Play Therapy Community Podcast. Until next time, bye-bye.